I could scarcely sleep the night that followed the confrontation in the temple. Even after the echoes of lamentations and recent battles had faded, a restlessness lingered within me, as if an invisible presence whispered secrets of betrayal and conspiracy. At dawn, as the desert's biting cold still reminded me of the shadows that pursued me, I sensed that the true trial would not be merely facing external enemies, but confronting the betrayal that might lurk even among those I considered allies. The road before me stretched longer and more desolate than ever. Dust kicked up by my horses' hooves mingled with my own anguish, each grain carrying the weight of ancient oaths and shattered promises. As I rode, memories of the temple and my confrontations with Kelder and the ghosts of the past mingled with a new feeling, the suspicion that something was very wrong. It wasn't merely the weight of the fragments or the burden of the Eastern Sect's legacy. There was a deeper unrest, something lurking in the darkest corners of my own soul. As I crossed a plain where the ruins of an ancient city emerged among the dunes, I came upon a group of survivors sheltering in the shadow of a crumbling temple. Their faces were weary and etched with exhaustion, and their eyes met mine with a mixture of hope and fear. It was there that I realized, even with my reputation as an anti-hero and my hardened demeanor, I was not the only one carrying the pain of past betrayals. During a brief respite, I sat beside a man with weathered features and watchful eyes who introduced himself as Darius. In a low, hoarse voice he confided, "There are rumors, Varian, that some among our own have turned against the cause. Allies who, seduced by power and fear, prefer to betray the memory of the fallen rather than fight for a worthy tomorrow." His words cut through the silence like a blade. I had already suspected deceit and betrayal, but hearing it from someone fighting the same cause only deepened the distrust that had taken root in my chest. As we spoke, the surroundings transformed into a stage of tension. The ruins, which moments before had seemed merely remnants of a glorious past, now appeared to whisper secrets. Weathered walls revealed nearly illegible inscriptions, marks of a pact or of a hidden betrayal. I couldn't decipher the inscriptions, but the feeling was unmistakable. There was more at play than mere rivalries with external enemies. True betrayal might be rooted in the hearts of those I had long believed were my brothers in arms.
Quick tip to level up your experience. Read Manhwas and light novels for free. Listen to epic audiobooks. Watch unlimited anime. Play cloud games with no console. And stream the best anime soundtracks. Check the description now and grab your free trials.
Darius continued, revealing that a secret faction, calling themselves the Brotherhood of the Veil, had emerged among the survivors. According to him, these men and women possessed information capable of shaking the very foundations of the resistance and, worse still, aiding the enemies who sought to subjugate the East. They have infiltrated where you least expect it, Varian. And, from what I've heard, some of our former allies have already succumbed to the temptation of corrupted power, Darius said bitterly. A chill ran down my spine. The thought that betrayal might come from within was more painful than any physical battle I'd ever faced. My mind drifted to the moments I had been betrayed, broken promises, and the souls I'd lost because I trusted too freely. Each memory fueled a burning rage, yet also a profound sorrow that threatened to consume me. I decided I could not simply ignore these suspicions. At sunset, as the desert was painted in reddish hues and shadows stretched long, I gathered Darius and several other survivors willing to share what they knew about the Brotherhood of the Veil. Amid a collective murmur, I caught fragments of conversation, hidden schemes, and a name that sent a chill down my spine, Idris. They say Idris, the guardian of the Eternal Blades, is not dead. Some claim he walks among us, manipulating the pieces of this macabre game, one of the men whispered. The revelation struck me like a physical blow. Idris had always been an enigmatic figure, linked both to ancient power and the betrayal that shattered the Eastern Sect. Now, the notion that he might be involved with the Brotherhood of the Veil raised more questions than answers. I, who had long sought to reclaim our legacy, stood at a crossroads. Whom could I trust when even the most sacred symbols proved unreliable? During the night, as we camped beneath a sky strewn with stars that seemed to weep, the tension only grew. I spent hours awake, replaying every conversation, every suspicious glance, every whisper carried on the wind. In a moment of introspection, I mentally recorded each detail, searching for a pattern or clue that might help me discern the truth. Darius's voice still echoed in my mind, mingling with memories of past betrayals I had sworn never to repeat. In the stillness of the early morning, I was taken by surprise by an unexpected visitor. Around the campfire, where few dared to linger, a hooded figure approached. Their footsteps were light, almost imperceptible, and their presence made the air feel unbearably dense. "Varian, you carry the burden of distrust," the figure said, revealing herself as Lyris, a woman with a piercing gaze and a calm voice. "But sometimes it is in doubt that we find the truth, or at least its first hints." I met her gaze warily, yet something in her stance convinced me she was not merely an emissary of the Brotherhood of the Veil. "What do you know about Idris?" I asked, striving to conceal my anxiety. Lyris paused for a moment, as if weighing the risk of her words, then replied, "Idris is a shadow of the past, Varian. He embodies everything that has been lost and corrupted. If he truly walks among us, his influence is subtle and deadly, woven into the fine print of pacts and the silence of broken promises." Her voice sounded like a whispered warning, and in that moment I realized that the seeds of betrayal were sown far deeper than I had imagined. Lyris's revelation transformed my suspicion into conviction. The Brotherhood of the Veil was not merely a ragged band of the disillusioned, but a calculated force capable of changing the course of our struggle. The height of my unease came the next morning. As the sun slowly rose over the desert, casting long shadows across the ruins, we were ambushed. A band of men, faces concealed and weapons drawn, burst forth from nowhere. Shouts and the clang of steel against steel filled the air, shattering the fragile calm we had only just reclaimed. "It's the Brotherhood of the Veil!" one of my companions cried, and panic spread like wildfire. I rose instinctively, drawing my blade with the resolve of someone who has already faced the inner abyss. The clash was immediate and brutal. Amid the chaos, I recognized the leader of the attackers, a man with a deep scar running across his face, a mark of an ancient betrayal. "Varian, you cannot escape the truth," the leader bellowed as our eyes met in a moment charged with fury and pain. The battle unfolded with the intensity of a storm. Each strike I delivered was driven by years of pent-up rage, each parry a refusal to let betrayal consume me. In the heat of combat, I heard my comrades' cries and Lyris's whispers as she moved with lethal grace through the shadows, bolstering my fight. At the climax of the clash, as the chaos reached its peak, I locked eyes with the leader, and in that instant, the memories of past betrayals and the doubts that haunted me coalesced into a single, silent scream within. "You who hide in shadows do not realize that true betrayal begins from within," I shouted as I landed a decisive strike that left him reeling. The silence that followed was deafening, and slowly the attackers fell back, as if the fury I unleashed could extinguish the darkness that drove them. When the dust of battle finally settled, I stood alone in the field, the echoes of screams still ringing in my ears. The fallen leader, now disarmed, his eyes a blend of anger and resignation, murmured something inaudible before his comrades dragged him away. A new weight settled on my shoulders, the certainty that the betrayal I feared was real, and that it sprang from within our own resistance. Rashid approached, his gaze stern yet understanding locking onto mine. "Varian, today you proved you can face both external enemies and your own inner demons," he said, his voice laden with the weight and gravitas only a seasoned veteran can convey. I didn't respond right away. Silence enveloped me as I processed every detail, every strike, and every whisper reminding me that sometimes those you trust can be the most dangerous. At that moment, as sunlight began to dissipate the shadows across the battlefield, I resolved that I would not allow betrayal to corrode everything I had fought to restore. I needed to uncover the truth, not only about the enemies hiding among the ruins or within the Brotherhood of the Veil, but also about myself and the scars I carried. At day's end, as twilight painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, I gathered with the few survivors who remained. Darius, Lyris, and other weary faces formed a circle around an improvised fire, sharing the silence of those burdened by a painful secret. As the fire crackled, casting dancing shadows around us, I reflected on what we had lost and what remained at stake. Lyris's warning and Darius's accounts echoed in my mind. Betrayal was not merely an isolated event, but a bitter inheritance that, if left unmasked, would continue to corrode the legacy of the East. "Today, I saw the face of betrayal," I murmured to myself, as the gaze of each companion mirrored both fear and resolve. Rashid added in his calm, steady voice, "We must remain vigilant, Varian. The enemy we face now may be among us. But remember, the truth, no matter how cruel, remains the only path to redemption." As the firelight briefly illuminated our battle-scarred faces, I felt a renewed conviction. I knew that every fight, every loss, and every trace of betrayal would serve to strengthen me, preparing me for the challenges yet to come. With a heavy heart but my eyes fixed on the horizon, I concluded that the journey ahead would be long and fraught with trials. Yet I also realized that within me, the ability to transform pain into power was the only weapon against the shadow threatening to consume everything. And so, as dusk deepened and night promised new mysteries, I rose, determined to uncover the hidden secrets of the Brotherhood of the Veil and to find, in the depths of betrayal, the key to the rebirth of the true legacy of the East. I knew the road was fraught with peril, but also that the truth, no matter how harsh, would be my greatest ally. And so, bearing the weight of suspicion and the flame of a fragile hope, I continued on my journey, ready to face the challenges that destiny, with all its cruelty and beauty, had in store for me.
Did you enjoy the video? Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This helps us know which stories you love most and which ones we should prioritize in future productions. Your support is essential for us to keep bringing you the best manhwa content every day. See you in the next episode.